So today we're looking at finding the percent of a number. So find the percent of the number and explain your method. So one of the things that really helps, so I'm going to show you the mathematical way to do this, but one of the things that really helps is to understand what fraction is 20%. We're going to do this using fractions because it's a bit easier than doing it any other way. So I'm going to show you how to do this using fractions. It's important to know that like 10% is 1/10. 20% would be like 1/5 or 2/10. 2/10 is 1/5. 15% would be 15 over 100. So any of these numbers is actually 20 over 100, 10 over 100, 30 over 100, 40 over 100, 140 over 100. So that's percentage-wise, that's what this is. To make this into a fraction, you just turn it into this number over 100. So to do the problem, so for number 3, I'm going to show you using both ways. So if you know that 20% is 1/5, so the problem here is 20% of 60, so it would really be 1/5 times 60 over 1. Because remember, any whole number is just that number over 1. And that's the easiest way for us to find the percentage using fractions. So the first thing I need to do is look at these two numbers. Are they compatible? Yes, they are. So this is 5 divided by 5 is 1. And 60 divided by 5 is 12. And then I do 1 times 12 is 12. And 1 times 1 is 1. So any number over 1 is that number. So the answer to this is 12. So 20% of 60 is 12. So that's how you do it if you know that this is 1/5. If you don't know that 20% is 1/5, you can do the same thing with 20 over 100. Because remember, 20 over 100, when you simplify, it turns into 1/5. But if you don't know that and you don't want to spend the time to do that, you don't have to. So you can do 20 over 100 times 60 over 1. Now, what I can do with this is I can do my cross simplification again. I can't really do 1 and 20 because 1 is the smallest it's ever going to be. But 6 and 10, if I just get rid of this 0, now I have 6 and 10. And I can get rid of 6 by 6 is an even number, so I can divide this by 2. If I divide this by 2, this turns into 3. If I divide this by 2, this turns into 5. So now when I multiply straight across, 20 times 3 will be 60, and 5 times 1 will be 5. Now, if I know that both of these are compatible, because 5 is any number that ends in a 5 or a 0 it can go into. So I'm going to divide this by 5, and this turns into 1. Okay, I'm going to divide this by 5, and this turns into 12. So it's the same thing. I get 12 over 1, which is 12. Okay, so I ended up with 12 over 1 with both of them. You can see that if you know 1/5 is 20% is 1/5, it's much quicker and simpler. But if you don't know it, you can do it this way and you'll still come out with the same answer. So I'm going to do several more, and I'm going to pretend like I don't know what the fraction is for these. And we'll kind of go that way. So let's look at number 4. So number 4 says 10% of 40. So 10% of 40, let's say I don't know the fraction. So 10 over 100 is 10%. But I don't need to do this because see how we have these extra zeros at the end? If I cross out this 0 and cross out this 0, I now have 1/10. So now I know 1/10, 10% is 1/10, or 10 over 100, it's 1/10. Okay, now I multiply it by 40 over 1 because 40 over 1 equals 40. Now, 1 times 40 is 40. 10 times 1 is 10. If I just get rid of these, 4. 4 over 1. So my answer is 4. Okay? So 10% of 40 is 4. All right, let's look at number 5. 50% of 70. Let's say I don't know 50% is 1/2. I don't know that. 50%, I don't know. So it's 50 over 100. First thing I can do is I can get rid of these extra zeros at the end. 5 over 10. So 50 over 100 is the same as 5 over 10. That's cool. Of 70. So I'm going to do 70 over 1 because that's 70. Now, when I look at simplifying, this is a 1, so I can't simplify the 5. But 10 and 70 go together. If I get rid of the zeros at the end of these, I have 1 and 7. Now I'm good there. So now I got 5 times 7, which equals 35 over 1. So my answer here is 35. So 50% of 70 is 35, and that's correct. If I would have just known that this was 1/2, I could have done 1/2 times 70 over 1. This would become 1, and this would become 35, and I'm done. 35. 1 times 35 is 35. 1 times 1 is 1. So you can see how knowing that 50% is 1/2, 30% is 30 over 100 is 3/10, 1/10. 15 would be 15 over 100, which is 15 over 100. 25 would be 1/4. This would be 1. Let's see, how many 5s are there in 100? 10, 20. There's 20. So this would be 1/20th. So if you know those, good. If you don't, you can do it this way, and all will work out for you in the end. So 3 through 22. Ready, set, go.